Fellow gardeners, let me tell you about the moment that completely changed my pepper game. So picture this. It's late August, my pepper plants are looking tired, production is slowing down, and I'm watching my neighbor's peppers absolutely thriving, while mine are calling it quits. That's when I discovered the power of calcium. Not just any calcium application, but really understanding how this miracle mineral transforms struggling pepper plants into late-season powerhouses. I'm your soil sensei, and today I'm sharing the mineral secret that literally doubled my pepper harvest in the final months of the growing season. This isn't just another gardening tip. This is the game-changing knowledge that separates average pepper growers from those pulling buckets of peppers well into October. Here's what most gardeners don't understand about pepper plants. They're marathon runners, not sprinters. While tomatoes peak mid-season and fade, peppers are built to produce continuously until frost. The problem? Most of us treat them like short-term crops and wonder why they peter out just when we need them most. I used to be guilty of this too. I'd plant my peppers, feed them nitrogen-heavy fertilizers early on, get excited about the initial fruit set, then watch helplessly as production dropped off in late summer. The plants would look stressed, leaves would yellow, and new pepper formation would slow to a crawl. Sound familiar? The breakthrough came when I realized that tired-looking pepper plants weren't nitrogen-deficient or water-stressed, they were calcium-starved. And here's the kicker. Most garden soils have plenty of calcium, but it's not getting to where the plants need it most. Calcium is the unsung hero of the pepper world, and understanding its role will revolutionize how you think about plant nutrition. Unlike nitrogen, which fuels leafy growth, or phosphorus, which supports root development, calcium is the structural engineer of your pepper plants. Think of calcium as the rebar in concrete. It strengthens cell walls, making your peppers more resistant to disease, environmental stress, and physical damage. But here's where it gets really interesting for us pepper growers. Calcium is essential for proper fruit development and prevents the dreaded blossom end rot that can destroy an entire harvest. During my research phase, I discovered that pepper plants need consistent calcium availability throughout their entire growing season, but the demand really skyrockets during fruit formation. Late in the season, when plants are pushing out their final flushes of peppers, they're desperately trying to pull calcium from wherever they can find it. If it's not readily available, production just shuts down. But calcium does something even more remarkable for late-season peppers. It actually improves the plant's water regulation system. This means better stress tolerance during those hot August and September days when other plants are wilting, and more consistent growth when temperatures start to fluctuate in early fall. Here's exactly what I do that's doubled my late-season pepper production, and you can implement this strategy regardless of your experience level. The secret isn't just adding calcium, it's making sure your plants can actually use it when they need it most. Starting in mid-July, I begin what I call my calcium loading protocol. Every 2 weeks, I apply liquid calcium directly to both the soil and the leaves of my pepper plants. Now you might be thinking, but I already added lime to my soil in spring. That's great for pH adjustment and long-term calcium availability, but it doesn't address the immediate needs of actively fruiting plants. I use calcium chloride dissolved in water at a rate of 1 tablespoon per gallon. This form of calcium is immediately available to plants, unlike the slow-release forms in lime or gypsum. I apply this solution in the early morning or late evening to avoid leaf burn, making sure to thoroughly wet both the soil around the plants and the foliage. The foliar application is crucial because calcium moves slowly through plant tissues. By applying it directly to the leaves, I'm ensuring that developing fruits get immediate access to this vital nutrient. Within 2 weeks of starting this protocol, I always notice increased flower production, and by week 4, the difference in pepper set is dramatic. So, understanding why calcium works so well for late-season peppers helps you troubleshoot problems and optimize your approach. Calcium plays several critical roles that directly impact pepper production, and honestly, the science behind it is pretty fascinating. First, calcium activates enzymes responsible for cell division and expansion. When calcium is readily available, pepper plants can quickly form new flowers and size up developing fruits. This is exactly why calcium-deficient plants often produce small, misshapen peppers or drop flowers before they can develop. Second, calcium strengthens the vascular system of the plant, basically the highways that transport water and nutrients. A strong vascular system means better distribution of resources to developing peppers, which translates to larger, more numerous fruits. I've measured peppers from calcium-treated plants, and they consistently average between 20 and 30% larger than those from untreated plants. Third, and this is where it gets really interesting, calcium improves the plant's ability to manufacture and transport sugars. Late in the season, when daylight hours are decreasing, plants need to be incredibly efficient at photosynthesis. Calcium-sufficient plants maintain better sugar production, which fuels continued flower and fruit development even as conditions become less ideal. The timing of calcium applications can make or break your late-season pepper success, and I've learned this through years of trial and error. The key is understanding that calcium needs to be available before the plant experiences stress, not after. I start my calcium program when the first flush of peppers reaches full size but before they start changing color. This is typically mid to late July in my Zone 6 garden, but adjust based on your local conditions. The plant is still actively growing but is about to enter its most demanding phase of fruit production. My application schedule is every 14 days through September, then I extend to every 10 days in October if warm weather continues. I've found that more frequent applications work better than heavy infrequent doses because calcium doesn't store well in plant tissues. It needs to be continuously available. Weather plays a huge role in application timing. After heavy rains, I always follow up with a calcium application within 48 hours because, excess water can flush calcium from the root zone. Similarly, during heat waves, I increase my application frequency because high temperatures interfere with calcium uptake. The actual application technique matters too. I use a pump sprayer for the foliar application, making sure to hit both the tops and undersides of leaves. For soil application, I water the calcium solution directly around the base of each plant, creating a small basin to prevent runoff. Once you've mastered basic calcium applications, there are several advanced techniques that can push your late-season pepper production even higher. These methods take a bit more effort, but honestly, they deliver proportionally better results. Soil pH monitoring becomes critical when you're pushing calcium applications. Calcium availability is closely tied to soil pH, and I test my pepper beds monthly during the growing season. The sweet spot for calcium uptake in peppers is a pH between 6.2 and 6.8. If your pH drifts outside this range, even abundant calcium becomes less available to plants. I also pair calcium with magnesium at a 3-to-1 ratio because these minerals work together in plant metabolism. Pure calcium applications can eventually create magnesium deficiency, which shows up as yellowing between leaf veins. By adding a small amount of Epsom salt to my calcium solution, I maintain proper mineral balance. Mulching strategy becomes more important when you're intensive feeding calcium. I use a thin layer of compost around my pepper plants, refreshed monthly, which helps retain calcium in the root zone and provides slow-release organic calcium as it decomposes. Temperature monitoring helps me optimize application timing. Calcium uptake is most efficient when soil temperatures are between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. During hot spells, I shift my applications to early morning when soil temperatures are cooler and plants are most receptive. The proof is always in the harvest, and the results of my calcium program have been nothing short of remarkable. Last season I harvested 347 peppers from 6 plants between August 15th and October 20th, more than double my previous best late-season harvest. But it's not just about quantity, the quality improvements are equally impressive. Calcium-treated peppers have thicker walls, better color development, and significantly longer shelf life. I've had peppers from my late-season harvest stay fresh in the refrigerator for over 3 weeks, compared to the typical 7 to 10 days for store-bought peppers. Disease resistance also improves dramatically. Bacterial spot and anthracnose, which typically plague late-season peppers, have become non-issues in my calcium-treated beds. The strengthened cell walls make it much harder for pathogens to establish infections. Perhaps most importantly, my pepper plants now maintain their vigor well into October. Instead of the typical late summer decline, they continue producing new flowers and setting fruit until the first hard frost. This extended production window has completely changed my pepper preservation and cooking plans. Fellow gardeners, you now have the knowledge that took me years to discover through trial and error. The calcium secret isn't complicated, but it requires commitment and consistency to see the dramatic results I've experienced. Start implementing this strategy in your garden, document your results, and share your success stories in the comments below. Your fellow Soil Sensei subscribers want to hear about your pepper victories. If this mineral revelation has sparked your curiosity about soil science and plant nutrition, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I'm constantly testing new growing techniques and sharing the results that actually work in real gardens. Share this knowledge with your gardening friends. There's nothing better than helping a fellow grower discover a game-changing technique. Together, we're building a community of gardeners who understand that successful growing isn't about luck or green thumbs, but about understanding what our plants really need to thrive.